All right, so we got K Grammi in the building, bro.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you pulling up, man, for sure. Like
Definitely, man. You
that's
know,
love, for sure, man. So fresh off of the release of Samhain too, man. So
man.
yeah, so before we know we're gonna get into that, like just talk a little bit about like how you got your start, into film and like where you come from, what your city was like.
Well, filmmaking and acting period was always my passion. I used to watch movies with my grandmother growing up, and it was just like we used to watch scary movies, so it was just like a little thing. I was watching Michael Myers she had all the Friday the 13th, so it's a thing I did with me and my grandmother. So from there, I just always just wanted to be in a movie. So I just decided to make my own, which was like it was crazy because at first I was paying somebody else to make my movie for me, but it was like their vision and everything wasn't like mine. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and do it myself.
So like did you feel like you got to that point where you was like, oh, this is something I want to do like full time, like legitimately?
It got something to do for a time when I felt as though it's like when I was editing my own stuff, when I was filming my own stuff, when I was just basically on set of everything. It was just like, this is where I want to be, this is me. So it's like I felt comfortable there, something that I know how to do and I'm going to still learn how to do while I'm growing. So I just always wanted to do it. So I'm like, this is me. It felt right.
How you feel like being from DC? How you feel like DC helped like kind of shape you and your career and like your aspirations of what you want to do?
Being from the city helped me because my city put me through a lot in a good way and in a bad way. So it's like my city made me who I am today. Like as far as just like trials and tribulations. So I feed off of pain and anger sometimes. So it's like pain and anger drives me to do better things in my life.
How do you feel like your background played in like the movies that you write and make?
My background played a part for my movie because well, it was just like the character I played. I was supposed to play the villain in there, but we had casting issues, so I ended up playing another character. But my background helped me a lot through my movies because it pushed me. It pushed me to do way better than what I was doing before. So yeah.
So you do music too. Like how did you start doing music?
But we started a group. That's how I got the name K Grammi. A lot of people think K Grammi came from a comedy, but actually we started a group called the Grammy Boys back in like 2016. So they used to call me KO back in the day. So it was just like I just dropped the O. It's like man, I'm gonna call K Grammi, or we got the Grammy Boys. So I just started with me. Music is like a passion of mine, but it's also my therapy. I feel as though I put everything in my music, wherever I was going through it, my pain, my anger, my happiness, like my joy, everything is just in my music for it. It's just really telling the story if you listen to it.
How hard is it to like balance like doing music and like filmmaking?
It's not that hard. I wouldn't say because literally once I'm in the studio, I'm locked in. Once I'm on set and I'm directing, I'm locked in. So it's like either both of them like a source of entertainment. So I just use both of them as my platform.
Do you feel like you like fully focused in on doing movies now, or is the music still something like you kind of do on the side too, or is it like
I think I'm fully focused on movies, but music, I might drop another tape this year, 2025.
when did you like kind of get to that point where it's like you leaning towards doing film more than music?
It was actually this year when I had got an AOC Trophies Entertainment, I had branded my business, and it was just like I let time pass and pass without me taking anything serious. So I'm just like I was freestyling, so it was just like when I seen me make my first movie and I see myself actually on a big screen, it was just like it did something to me. So it was just like this is what I want to do. So I just went hard on it.
What was so like obviously with your newest film, Samhain? What was like the inspiration behind that film?
The inspiration behind Sam Hain was that for one, I love horror movies. For two, I wanted to be different in the city. I didn't want to make too much of an urban thing like a lot of people out here doing. I wanted to be different. Like it's not a lot of people from Southeast making scary movies or just suspenseful movies or thrillers anyway. So I wanted to stand out. Everything I do, I like to stand out and be different. I don't like to be the same as nobody. I like to have my own way of life.
How was it? Well, first, how was like the casting for the movie? What was that process like?
Casting was kind of hard. It was my first film, and you got to have people that believe in you, obviously. So literally, like, we had two sets of cast. Like, we literally shot this film in 2023. We started filming in 2023, but it was some production issues with the person, like I said before, about the cameraman and stuff like that. So it was just like one of them things where I'm about to learn the stuff myself, and we just gonna rock out. So yeah.
What was it like, kind of seeing that movie get performed in theaters? Like you had a whole premiere and everything.
Man, it was crazy. Me being from Southeast, me never having nothing. I literally made this movie from nothing and literally went through everything making it. To see that on a big screen, it was like everything was worth it.
What was some of your like challenges making that movie?
Challenges making that movie was time consuming, um, personal issues. Like I was flat broke. Like I was out down on my ass. Like literally no help, no nothing. Like I was literally, man, moving house to house. Like I ain't had nothing making this movie. So it was just like that alone right there, a person would have gave up. But I believed in my movie. I believed in my cast. My cast believed in me. So it was just like at the end of the day, like everything I did was worth it. I had to go harder. And it was just like that just motivated me to make a masterpiece like I made in Samhain.
How satisfying was it, to see like all the, challenges that you went through and now you was able to complete it and see it on the big screen? Like how satisfying was that like overall feeling?
It was very satisfying. Like it's still like a dream come true for us. Like I really had a movie played in theaters, like that's gonna be on a streaming platform in another 2 to 3 months. So it's just like why stop there? It's like I believe in God, so it's like God put me through everything I went through to show me that it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be a walk in the park for anybody that's out there, for anybody that's trying to chase their dreams. It's never gonna be easy. But it's just all about you. Keep going. You can't give up. No matter how bad you want to, no matter how bad life throws rocks at you, you gotta pick it up and keep moving.
What is it like, having, knowing that it's gonna be on streaming services, like, it's gonna be on Tubi and other streaming services, like how do you go about getting a movie on those services?
Where I actually had got a distribution deal, so it was grateful. Thank God for that. I mean, shout out to Polo too, man. Polo, he's another director from the city. Like when I say he is not one of them directors that keep everything to himself. Like he want people to win. He really wants me to win. Like he see where I'm coming from. He know my background, so it's like for me to step in this world of filmmaking and being a director and everything, it's like it's different for him because he's saying like a little brother or a young one trying to come up. So it's just like Polo gave me half the resources I got now.
What do you want the audience or the viewers to take away from Samhain when they see it?
I want the viewers to take away that it's talent in my city, in DC, and that I was a first time filmmaker making the film, so don't never let someone tell you you can't do something. If you believe in it, go for it full fledged. I literally made this movie from nothing, and it was a great outcome. So I want anybody that's out there watching the movie, that will see the movie, to understand that it's okay to go through things. It's okay. But you just got to keep going. Don't give up.
So obviously you got, your upcoming project, The City, coming out,
Yeah.
and obviously not trying to, reveal too much or anything like that. What was the process like, coming up with The City, and like what's the background behind that?
The city was basically, I wanted to come up with something right after the movie because I didn't want people just to see the movie and to be like, what's next? I want to come out with projects back to back. So the city is based off of DMV related stories, drama, love, money, just everything about the city, man. It's our city. So it's just like basically I'm just going off of that. It will be a series on YouTube that people can go on YouTube and check out. We just had a casting call earlier today, and it's set to air on YouTube about mid-January 2025.
And so speaking of like casting call, like obviously, you learn from, the casting call experience of your first movie. Is there anything like you're doing differently during this casting call? Like anything you learned from the last time that you're gonna, apply this
Yeah,
time?
it's like a lot of people seen the movie, so it's like we have more people for the casting call for this film. So it's like what I'm doing different is like taking it more serious, letting the people know like, hey, like we casting you for this, but I need you to be like, I give them the tones of the characters, I give them like the moves of the characters, because I want basically when you come in here, I want you to be able to grow and learn and present at the same time.
How do you choose the actors like to like that fit your vision for films?
So we had scripts today. I had scripts from certain scenes of the series that it was already written, and I had them read off it. It really wasn't like a read. I tell my cast members all the time, like, just because it's words on the paper doesn't mean you guys have to just read it. I want you to become that character, get into that character, so that way when you bring it to the screen, it's gonna look like that's naturally you. So I look for the most natural things in those characters and those casts.
Do you go off of like people who like have experience, or is it like are you open to like
I'm
helping out
open
people
to
that?
everything. I feel as though, because I was coachable myself, and I'm still coachable going through this thing. So I'm not really looking for experienced people. Like the villain that I had in my last one, shout out to Rob Hollywood. I had to coach him literally through everything that I did as he was becoming a villain. So I don't mind working with people, like, because I would want someone to work with me. So it's like, as long as I know they can be coachable, they can work, and they can get better, then they have a job with me.
What's the most like exciting part for you about starting a new film, like the whole new film process?
Exciting part is new cast, new faces. You know what I'm saying? It just gets fresh. Um, you have a new storyline, so it's not like the same thing. You get to switch it up. You don't really have to stay in the same genre. Last time I did like suspense, thriller, horror. So now we're doing like drama, reality. So it's like it's kind of cool.
And what's like your whole creative process like when it comes to like coming up with a script, plot, characters, and all of that? Like, what's that
Um,
process like?
that process is kind of easy because I live in my head, man. So it's like once I just start typing and I just keep going after that. So it's just like I have a lot of stories that I can tell. So it's like I just put that all down on paper and try to add some up to date experiences and go from there.
How do you feel like as far as like being realistic with your movies, but also like having the creativity as well? Like, how do you balance have realism and creativity in your
I
films?
balance it out by trying to be versatile. So if I write a screen movie, I want the screen movie to be based off up to date events. You know, I wouldn't try to put something in a movie that I know wouldn't fit a person's everyday life. You know, I would try to let the audience relate to it. So when they go home, they're like, "Hey, man, this like look like something off of Samhain." So so try to make it more realistic than fiction.